Welcome to the Activated Storytellers 46th podcast, May 31st, 2007.
This week's story is The Drummer Boy, a folk tale that may be true from the Civil War.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
And I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Zephyr.
And together we are
The Activated Storytellers.
We are also known as, we are also the Goza family. We are coming to you this week from Urbandale, Iowa, where we've just had a chance to visit the Living History Farm. We're going to tell you about that, and the story this week also ties in with it. First of all, though, we'd like to remind you to give us a call with your comments and questions. And we have a new phone number, so ignore any other phone number you've heard before. The new phone number is 206-350-5016. I also want to point out that you can leave your comments and give us some feedback on iTunes.
This week we are in Urbandale, Iowa, a suburb of Des Moines, and we did go to the Living History Farm. It's a living history center that has a farm. It also has a village, a recreated village from about 1875.
Yes, now I have to point out, if you have not listened to us or don't know us at all, we are not farmers.
We don't know beans about farming.
Not at all. So this was quite different for us to go and see the farm, and I was quite impressed. How about you, Zephyr?
One of the things that I thought was interesting was the trail. They had a trail set up. The trail started at a Native American farm circa the early 1700s and then eventually wound up in a museum about modern farming.
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed the trail. It was a very nice walk through the woods. Along the way, you can see markers that point out the different events in the time.
And there were enactors in period costume doing various chores, demonstrating various crafts. And actually, they recruited Zephyr to help out with a farm chore.
That's right. You became a farmer today. What did you do?
I helped grind corn. I'm pretty sure that's the first farming chore I've ever done in my life.
Did you not collect eggs when you were in North Carolina?
I walked out while somebody else collected the eggs, and then they gave me some eggs to carry back to look like I did something. Yes.
That sounds like you. Okay, so tell us exactly how do you grind the corn then when you're at a farm?
Well, it involves taking buckets of corn out to this sort of machine where they've got these sharp blades in the bottom, and you pour the corn, the shelled corn, into the machine, and there's a horse that's rigged up to the machine, and when the horse walks, it causes the machine to turn, and it grinds the corn up into little bits.
Ah, so you didn't actually do the grinding, the horse did.
They also used horses, by the way, to pull plows that they were actually raising crops with there on the farm. And there was a farmhouse you could go inside. It was very completely furnished with trappings of the period. Quite an interesting slice of life.
I also found it was interesting. I think we got there at lunchtime because we started in the Native American, the Ioway tribe. We started in their village. There were no Native Americans there today. They were just guides that explained what was what. But they were cooking lunch over fire.
Something that I find interesting is that the Ioway tribe obviously inspired the name Iowa, and the biggest city in Iowa, Des Moines, I believe has French origins. Also, what was interesting is that the Ioway tribe began trading with the French.
And then we went on down to the next farm village, and they were cooking lunch as well in one of the houses, indoors and again over the fire.
They also had a lot of animals.
Yes, they did. We saw pigs and sheep and cows. Then we went on to the next village, and again, they were cooking lunch.
Well, I see a theme here.
Like I said, I think we were there at lunchtime. We were also there on Memorial Day, and so there was a celebration for Memorial Day, a commemorative event, a parade, and then a graveside service.
Yes, they have a cemetery in this little town, so the procession made its way down Main Street, as it were, to the cemetery.
One of the interesting things about it is that the town is completely fictional. Walnut Hill was the name of the supposed town that they recreated, which didn't actually exist, but they created it, and in fact there are no bodies in the cemetery, just markers.
But this fictional town is created in very realistic detail. You can go into a milliner shop, you can go into the newspaper office, you can go into the bank. Another thing they had on Memorial Day at the Living History Farm was a baseball game, an old-fashioned baseball game, played according to rules of around 1875 in uniforms from that era as well. The rules were quite different then. It was a gentleman's game.
It's something I'd like to see in the sports that we have today. Instead of trying to win, they actually compliment each other, and interesting rules they have there.
Yes, and they played without gloves.
Okay, maybe I wouldn't want to have what they did back then.
And they played without getting paid an obscene amount of salary.
Reconsidering as we go on here. You can find out more about Living History Farm at lhf.org. And as I said, we do have a story this week that ties in with the Living History Farm and the Civil War. It is a story from the Civil War. It is called The Drummer Boy.
During the Civil War, the troops under the command of General Lyon were about to stage an attack on the Confederates.
Ow! Ow! That's my toe.
Oh, I don't know. Do you think we're well enough supplied for this mission?
Ow!
Up, 2, 3,
Oh,
2,
get it together.
4,
Get it together.
3,
Get it.
3. I'm sorry, what comes after 3?
I don't know. We've got enough flour and bacon, beans, although they're full of worms. But I don't know. Some of the boots that the men are wearing are in pretty bad shape. And I tell you, they're just not marching that well. We need to do something about that.
Left, right, right.
What they really need is a drummer to keep them in time. Well, a woman who was doing their laundry overheard them.
A drummer.
And she went back home and brought her 10-year-old son.
Johnny, you know that drum set you have?
Yeah, I'm a really good drummerist.
Yes, you are, dear. Now, I have a very important job for you.
Oh boy, am I going to carry the dishwater again?
No, a little more important than that. You see, the Army needs a drummer so that all the men can march on time.
Why don't they just use a clock?
Well, I think they need a drummer to help rally the troops. Do you think you could do it?
Me? Be a drummerist?
Only if you think you're ready for it.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Excuse me, General.
Yes, well, what can I do for you?
My son here. Why, he would like to be a drummer in your army.
You have any drumming experience, son?
I can count to 4 and repeat. I'm a drummer.
Well, let's give you an audition. Why don't you pick up that bucket over there and give it a try, huh? That's pretty impressive. I think we could use your talents. Well, the pay is 2 cents a week.
I'll take it. Thank you.
I just hope you don't give me any weird time signatures, because I can't really count over 4.
No, all the men in this regiment have only 2 feet, so you'll be fine.
Heh, cool. My daddy was killed by Confederates. I'm gonna get those Confederates.
Now, son, you know you shouldn't be too happy to see the rebels get defeated or killed or hurt. They're people just like us. In fact, some of them are our relatives, but they just happen to be on the wrong side.
Well, goodbye, Johnny, and be good.
Okay, son, let's go practice with those troops. Up, 2, 3, 4, left, right, left.
And off they went to battle.
Now, in no time at all, little Johnny was adopted by the regiment. They considered him their own child. And whenever they would go foraging for melons or peaches or other food, they would always give him his share first. The battle raged on, and the drummer boy led them into battle. And thanks to his inspiration, they did very well indeed, and they won the battle. But after the battle, the drummer boy was nowhere to be found. See him over there, John?
Oh,
How come everyone's named John?
you know, his mother's going to be mighty disappointed we don't bring him back.
She'll get 2 cents a week.
Hey, listen up. Hey, you hear that? Drumming. Why, he's over here.
Oh, I see him. Johnny, are you okay?
Well, I can't move my leg, but my drumsticks still work good. Ow! Someone shoot it at my leg.
Oh, his leg is really wounded badly. But look, it's been tied up with buckskin suspenders. Who did that?
Why, must have been this Confederate over here. He don't got no suspenders on. You're mighty lucky, son. Mighty lucky.
Yes, you went to fight against the rebels, but one of them saved your life.
And that's the story of the drummer boy. We've been traveling now for like 15 years, I think. And as we've been traveling, Zephyr at one time was very interested in the Civil War. And we'd have to go to every Civil War battlefield.
Well, yeah, I used to be really interested in the Civil War, and I would study up on it, and we went to such places as Gettysburg, and I became familiar with a lot of the battles, and in fact, I actually once locked the door to the booth where Abraham Lincoln was killed.
Yeah, I remember that.
We also went to the battlefield in Maryland, Antietam, and Shoal Creek, Missouri.
Yeah, there was a reenactment when we were there.
There is a feature about Shoal Creek on our website, some photos of our visit there, which I believe is in 2001 or 2.
Yeah, I remember hiking around in a lot of battlefields and picking up a lot of ticks.
I remember the ticks, too.
And that was our story, but speaking of stories, we have another interesting little story that we know for a fact is true because it happened to us last night.
Are we going to tell this story?
Yes, we're going to tell this story because I find it to be extremely hilarious.
Okay, all right. I want to start. We were driving the motorhome. We had to stop and dump the tanks. Well, we found a rest stop in Iowa that had a place to dump, so we stopped, dumped the tanks, and took off.
And then we got about 20 miles down the road, and we see lights flashing behind us. And Kimberly says, I'm being pulled over. Why am I being pulled over? I'm not speeding.
I couldn't figure out why I was being pulled over.
Now, let me tell you my side of the story, what was going on, because I'm standing just outside the RV because we're dumping, right? I'm just a little bit off the pavement, just standing on the grass. I'm talking on the phone with my friends, as I frequently do at night.
Which is why I was wearing earphones and listening to my music, because he does talk every night, and I'd like my brain.
Then I see the RV start to pull away. This is about the time I'm chasing after it, going, hold on, I'm not in the RV. Stop, I am not in the RV.
So 20 miles down the road, I can't figure out why we're getting pulled over, and I tell Dennis, and Dennis says, Zephyr, he thinks Zephyr's in the bathroom this whole time, and he says, Zephyr, you better go sit down, put your seatbelt on, we're getting pulled over. Zephyr, you better go put your seatbelt on, we're getting pulled over. Still no response.
And that's when it hit us why we were being pulled over.
It hit us pretty hard.
After they pulled away out onto the highway, I'm standing back here at the rest stop going, how do you do that?
15 years of traveling. That has never happened. I thought it would be totally impossible. I guess I'm wrong.
So the Iowa State Trooper walks up to the window and says, do you realize you left someone behind?
I think at that point he realized that we just realized that, yes, we did leave somebody behind. I got to go. I'm sorry. I can't stay here and talk. I got to go. Okay, so little safety issue here. What do you do when you are left behind at a rest stop?
The best option is, what I ended up doing is I called the police.
You called 911.
Yes, I did call 911. I was trying to find another line to call because I did not want to bother 911 because, frankly, this isn't that big of an emergency. I had not lost one of my limbs, my life was not in immediate danger, and I wasn't on fire, so I really didn't want to call 911, so I went into the rest stop and I couldn't find any other kind of number. Like, I could just see numbers about, if this rest stop needs any attention, please let us know. So I ended up calling 911 and asking them to patch me through to the Iowa Highway Patrol. And I said, hi, I'm on a rest stop on the side of 35, and my parents just drove off without me.
And the guy on the phone did what?
Well, there's kind of a pause, and then the guy on the phone goes, okay.
So he got a kick out of it, too.
Yeah, I'm just going to say the people at 911 have a really good sense of humor.
But the policeman who stopped us actually told us that this kind of thing happens pretty often.
That's amazing to me. I can't imagine. I can't imagine anybody doing this, and then here it happens to us.
It was genuinely hilarious. In fact, while I was there, the phone battery was dying to boot.
We have one cell phone between us because we are all together all the time. And so, yeah, Zephyr had no way of calling us. He had the phone.
By the way, one other thing, if you're stuck at a rest stop, it's not really a good idea to go and ask random people for help. Try to find a payphone.
Yes, yeah, I wanted to point that out. You did not talk to anybody when you were at the rest stop. Nobody at the rest stop knew that we ran off without you.
So, trivia question this week. What years did the Civil War go through?
From when to when? Are we going to answer that next week?
And keep in mind, there were skirmishes leading up to when it actually started, but there's an official point of when the actual war started. But there were skirmishes before that.
Okay, so if you'd like to call in and give us the answer, we can feature it on next week's podcast. It's 206-350-5016. Hey, what are free cell minutes for, except for to call us? 206-350-5016. You can answer that question, or if you have any other comments or questions about our podcast, go ahead and leave them there for us. You can also leave feedback on, we have a Twitter account now. If you're not familiar with Twitter, I think I'm going to tell you about that next week because that's a lot of stuff there. So Twitter account, if you do already know about it, is twitter.com. We are activated, and that's our title. Now, we've been listening to some new podcasts this week, and I've got one that I'd like to share with you guys, and I think you're going to enjoy them. They are Dancing with Elephants, and here's a little promo from their podcast so you can hear what they sound like.
There are so many podcasts out there. Some are good and some are...
Disgusting.
Oh, they're not that bad.
Oh, no.
Take the one called Dancing with Elephants, for example. It's family safe.
I told you.
Join Greg, Tanya, Nikolai, and Caleb.
Wow.
Find them at dancingwithelephants.com and join the fun.
Okay, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is another podcast that is done by a family.
And for those of you who missed this, Activated Story Park is now up. You can download it. It's on the website. Go, absolutely take a look at it.
I have to say it is quite enticing. Fun play too. So you'll find that on our website. You will find the show notes at our activated.libsyn.com. On that page, you will find show notes. And this month, going into June, we are kicking off some summer reading programs in style. Get this, we have shows at a library that is next to a helicopter landing pad. And we have some shows at one of the libraries of the year. We will be in Yellville, Arkansas, Mountain Home, Arkansas, Rogers, Arkansas, Fayetteville, Walnut Ridge, Eureka Springs, Berryville, Green Forest, Paragould, Marion, Jonesboro, Conway, and Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Ooh, looking forward to getting back to Hot Springs.
So you can see the show live. We will be doing 2 multicultural folktales at each of these libraries for the summer reading program. And then we will be off after Arkansas. We will be moving on to Indiana, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Maryland. You'll find our list of shows, upcoming shows. See if there's one near you at activated-storytellers.com.
Let's see, Arkansas, Indiana, Maryland, Massachusetts. We're working our way down the alphabet.
We are? I think we're more or less working our way from the Midwest to the Northeast. And what are we doing next week? We are on our way now to...
Branson, Missouri.
Yes, we are on our way to Branson, Missouri. We're going to be checking out the Dunton Family Show. And in the meantime...
Stay civil.
See you next week. Don't leave anybody behind.
The Activated Storytellers perform at schools and libraries nationwide. On stage, we use American Sign Language, physical comedy, imaginative props, and a giant, oversized book to bring the stories to life. For booking information, check our website at www.activated-storytellers.com, where you can also find out when the Activated Storytellers will be performing near you, read a story, or order one of our audio CDs. Until next time.